Yo, what is up, everybody? I am versing Cookie Boy 17. I mean, oh my god, this is like so surprising. Like, he's my favorite YouTuber of all time, and he's just incredible. So, I'm 1v1ing him right now.
Yo, what is up, everybody? If you couldn't tell, that was not me in the beginning of the video. You might have thought it was me. It was actually my opponent that was talking there. So she actually has a YouTube channel if you guys want to check it out. So I'll leave her link in the description. And I figured it would be cool to put that little snippet in the beginning of the video. And I think it's a cool idea to do for future videos, to where if I play subscriber games, not for the rest of the series, because I already played most of these games for this series, but like for Madden 18, whenever I play subscriber games, if someone wants to get on the mic for 5 or 10 seconds and leave a little shout out, a little message for everyone watching the video, or a message to myself, you know, give them that chance to do that. Maybe put that at the end of the video, or put that during like halftime, like a little halftime show kind of thing. I think it would be a cool idea. I love, you know, any way to get you guys more involved, I'd love to do it. So if you guys would be down for that idea, let me know if you guys think it's a cool idea and something we could definitely implement in future videos. Because I mean, I thought it was cool to put that in the beginning, and you know, it was cool words. She said that I was her favorite YouTuber. I thought it was pretty cool, you know. Anytime like someone gets on the mic and says something like that, like I already went over some of this with the Evan video, but I don't want to get too into it right now, because we do have a season preview series to get back to. We're going through all 32 teams for the upcoming NFL season, and today we're going over the Houston Texans. The Texans have been consistently pretty good in the AFC, but not great. We went over the Kansas City Chiefs having, you know, the ceiling that they can get, and they can only get so high. The Texans are also one of those teams, and one of the main problems is just the fact that the quarterback situation, the offense, it can only take them so far. They ride their defense, and it's cool when you have J.J. Watt and you have these great players in their secondary and a monster front seven, but, you know, Matt Schaub wasn't taking them anywhere. Brock Osweiler was not the answer, and we'll have to see if Deshaun Watson or Tom Savage, whoever starts the season / plays the season out, we'll see if one of those guys is the answer. And the problem for the Houston Texans is the offense is not looking pretty entering the season once again, unless Deshaun Watson just dazzles everyone. That's TBD. I mean, he looked good in Clemson, but, you know, he was playing on a national championship roster. We'll see how much of it was him and how much of it was Clemson. Now, he's got the DeAndre Hopkins to throw the ball to, and that's fantastic. But the rest of the guys he's throwing the ball to, a little bit questionable. Will Fuller, as a rookie, had a couple of drop problems. Braxton Miller, also a rookie last year, 3rd-round pick. He's transitioning to the wide receiver spot after playing some quarterback in college. Like most Ohio State quarterbacks, they start at, you know, quarterback and then end up playing wide receiver in the NFL, just the way it is, like Terrell Pryor. But not really too good of a year for those guys. Braxton Miller looked pretty rough last year. Will Fuller had his ups and downs. I personally think Will Fuller could be pretty good, but he's got to, you know, he's got to do more than have speed. He's got to be able to catch that football more than anything else. They have CJ Fedorowicz at the tight end spot, who I like. I think he's a little bit above average at the tight end spot. Not like great or anything like that, but an above average starting NFL tight end. And then they have Lamar Miller at the running back spot. And I like Lamar Miller. I thought that was a really good signing for them to get Lamar Miller when the Miami Dolphins weren't really appreciating him, which, you know, kind of worked out for Miami because they have that Jay Ajayi guy. But the problem for the Houston Texans is their offensive line is not looking good at all. It's looking like one of the worst units in the NFL. You got Dwayne Brown on there, and besides that, not too much. They got Greg Mance, and he's been pretty solid, but besides that, you know, they got Suafilo, or whatever his name is. That dude's been pretty bad ever since he came into the NFL, and who knows? They got that Giacomi dude that used to play in the Jets at the right tackle spot projected right now, and I don't really think that's the move to have that guy starting. So this Houston Texans offensive line, it's looking pretty rough. They're hoping their 2nd-round pick Nick Martin can make some sort of impact, but otherwise, you know, it's kind of scary looking at that offensive line. And if Braxton Miller is going to be the guy starting at quarterback, you know, the Texans quarterbacks, mainly Brock Osweiler, didn't take too many sacks last year, but that could be something that changes if a rookie gets under center behind that team, behind that offensive line. It can make them uncomfortable. So it worries me, that offense, a little bit. Who's going to step up besides DeAndre Hopkins and the offensive line? Are they going to help their quarterback? Is it going to affect the running game? Because last year it felt like the running, like, I like Lamar Miller, but, you know, they kind of have a handcuff on what they could do on offense based on an offensive line that's deteriorating. It was one of the better parts of this team for years, but, you know, they slowly lost members. Guys are getting old. Like, I mean, Dwayne Brown's still pretty good, but he's old. He's, I think he's in a lockout right now. I don't even think he's reporting to camp right now. Thankfully for the Texans, the defensive side of football has always been there for them, but they definitely need some people to step up. on that side of the football this year. Starting off with Kevin Johnson. Kevin Johnson, if he comes back healthy, they need Kevin Johnson to come back healthy, I feel like, because looking at their secondary, it looks a little bit average. I mean, there's names that have been around for a while and getting the job done. Jonathan Joseph was a fantastic signing for the Texans when they picked him up from the Bengals. And Kareem Jackson, he's just been extremely average. But Kevin Johnson's that one guy who could be, that #1 cornerback for this squad. Now that they lost A.J. Boy, and A.J. Boy looked like, he would be really good, but he hit free agency. He had a big payday. The Texans didn't want to pay him. Maybe rightfully so, but I mean, they got enough secondary depth to where they didn't have to, but definitely Kevin Johnson, need him to be healthy. I really like Kevin Johnson. I like the way he plays, and I think he could be one of the better cornerbacks for years to come in the NFL. It's just that he's got to be healthy. And one thing when you look at the Houston Texans, when you look at their drafts the last couple of years, late in drafts, they haven't really gotten too many big-time players. The 2015 draft, I thought they did pretty good with Kevin Johnson, McKinney, even Jalen Strong has shown a couple of flashes. But otherwise, not too many big names found later on in the draft. Their first-round draft picks are pretty good. Kevin Johnson, Jadeveon Clowney, DeAndre Hopkins, Whitney Merciless, J.J. Watt, Kareem Jackson, Brian Cushing, all big-time names. And that definitely, and even Dwayne Brown, all of these guys, big-time names for this team. It's TBD of their first-round picks. And the last 2 drafts are going to show up. We got to see what Deshaun Watson's made of if he plays this season. And the jury's still out on Will Fuller. And besides Watson, they got Zach Cunningham in the 2nd round. And he's a linebacker, so that adds to a pretty good linebacking core already with McKinney, who's been, definitely had a breakout year last year. You got Brian Cushing, who is not the monster that he used to be, but he's still a starting NFL middle linebacker. And then they got Seal Moore in the offseason. And then, of course, when you look at their defensive line, they got the best 3-headed monster as a pass rush out there. I don't think anybody can even argue that there's a better pass rush than Whitney Merciless, Jadeveon Clowney, and if he comes back healthy, J.J. Watt. And J.J. Watt coming back could change a lot of things for this Houston Texans team. He's that much of a game changer. He can help their run defense, which wasn't too good last year. Definitely could be improved a little bit. Can be one of those top 10 run defenses if J.J. Watt comes back. J.J. Watt's a master getting those pass deflections, so that can help out, help out the short passing game if some of those dudes are leaving open gaps. J.J. Watt can bail you out on many different occasions. Just need some of these guys to come back healthy, but I mean, at the end of the day, I one thing to mention about the Houston Texans, by the way, they do not have either their first-round pick or their second-round pick next year. Both of those belong to the Cleveland Browns. They traded up in the first round this year in the draft to get Deshaun Watson, and in the process gave up their next year's draft to the Cleveland Browns. And then, you guys know the Brock Osweiler trade. They gave away a second-round pick in next year's draft just to get rid of Brock Osweiler's contract because it was, that atrocious to them. So they definitely want to do good this year, because if they don't do good, they won't be able to reap the benefits from, being bad and getting good draft picks. That's going to be the Cleveland Browns who do that. And definitely shout out to the Browns for getting those deals done. But I don't think the Texans are going to be that bad where they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I wish we had our draft picks. Now, when I look at the Texans, their schedule, at most, I see 9 wins on that schedule. Maybe 10 if they, get things done. But at most, I really see 9 wins for this Houston Texans team. And the good news for them is 9 wins might be able to get it done in the AFC South. Because as much potential as the AFC South has, let's be real, it's probably not going to be the breakout division of the year. You know what I mean? There's probably going to be at least 2 teams in there that are finishing like 6-10 or worse. So Houston Texans can definitely win the division with a 9-7 record. But we definitely got to see what the Indianapolis Colts are bringing and what the Tennessee Titans are bringing. And that's going to be a little bit scary because those teams, especially the Titans, have potential to get more than 9 wins. And I feel like that's just the Texans' cutoff this year. That could all change with, the draft and what happens with Deshaun Watson. If Deshaun Watson is a star, then everything changes with the Houston Texans. But until then, TBD. Gotta see what's up. Really like Jadeveon Clowney, by the way. I didn't really get to talk too much about Clowney. Big fan of Clowney. I was a big fan of Clowney last season before he really broke out, or 2 seasons ago when he didn't really play. Because when he did play, you could definitely tell that he had the ability to make an impact. It's just that he had to stay healthy, and as long as Clowney's healthy, I mean, that's Merciless, Watt, and Clowney. I wouldn't want to go against that, but there's definitely holes in their secondary, man. I'm not really liking their safety depth. We got to see how much Joseph can bring, and we got to see if Kevin Johnson's healthy, and it's they got some depth in that secondary, but I'm not too big of a fan of their safety spots, and their cornerback spots could hit a decline this year. Kevin Johnson isn't healthy, so like I said, my peak for the Texans is 9 wins. Let me know if you guys think the Texans can do more than that. If the Texans can win the AFC South, maybe compete for a first-round bye. I think that's their border. It just depends on, you know, what the other teams in the division do and if they can beat the Houston Texans and win some division games. So leave a like in the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Texans fans. Let me know how you're feeling, and I'll catch you guys next time.